Hello and welcome to What the Fuck with Gino. And today I got a full day. I want to keep this under 10 minutes. I always try to, between 5 and 10 minutes. But there's so much going on, I have to actually put stuff off till tomorrow. This is episode 5, I believe, which you can see on YouTube. Today I want to discuss, if I can, if I may, the war on police and also the war on white people, elderly, specifically elderly white people and people who are not woke. I personally am not woke. I'm just happy to be awake. When I wake up, that's what I am. I am wake. You're woke. I'm awake. Anyhow, I mean, all the stuff that's going on, remove the Paw Patrol. Elmer Fudd can't carry a gun. They give him a sickle. I don't want to be hacked to death. I'd rather be shot than hacked to death. It's horrible. But I'll tell you what, they're talking about the violent society, especially violent police. But they're selling video games. The movies are horribly violent. But they're selling video games. That's nothing but killing and shooting, automatic weapons. But they're very graphic, too. They're not just showing a lot of killing. They're showing, if you shoot somebody, they're showing the brain splatter. They're showing the blood. They're showing the carnage of it. They're ripping apart the bodies of it. But there's one game in particular. There's Grand Theft Auto. In Grand Theft Auto, I can steal cars. But you not only can steal cars, you get to shoot it out with the police. You get to kill police in it. And a fringe benefit of Grand Theft Auto, you get to rape women. Yeah, in the video. They teach you how to rape women. So there's something that's really good. You got a war on police. But this stuff is allowed. In Boston, I just want to bring this up if you haven't seen it or read about it. In Boston, the campus reform at Berklee College of Music allowed police during a riot situation and protest. They allowed police to use their restrooms following a protest in the area. This is police were there to protect our building. They allowed police to use their restroom, and the people are pissed. Pun intended. They actually apologize for this. I mean, they apologize for letting police officers use their restroom because many members of the community felt betrayed. Let me read to you the statement by the college. Let us assure you this should not have happened. Going forward, it will not happen again. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? You're apologizing because you let police use your restroom? In Denver, no police in their schools anymore. This is the cancel culture. No. CNN analysis, calling for the statues of Washington and Jefferson to come down. What the fuck? Founders of our country. And the reason is because they owned slaves, which was a sign of the times back then. People had slaves. But you know what? We've passed that. We don't have slaves now. There are slaves in the world still existing. Nobody protesting there. But we don't have them. You know why? Because of two great Republicans, U.S. Grant and Lincoln. They abolished slavery. They fought for it. Matter of fact, Grant, if you didn't know this, Grant married a woman who came from a slave-owning family. His family did not like slavery. The father-in-law gave him a slave. Grant worked along with the slave to help build his house on his land. And then he freed his slave. When they said, wait, we can get $1,000 for this slave. He's a good slave. No, he freed him. He gave him papers and gave him his freedom, Grant. And he fought in the war to free slaves. Republicans. Another thing about Republicans, in case you don't know any history, if you look at history, you can't. I say look at history, but you can't look at history because they don't teach you. They don't teach history in school. Now they teach how to hate America and what's wrong with white people. That's what they're teaching in school right now. What the fuck? But if you look at history, the Republicans voted, and presented the bill to get black people to vote. Democrats were against it. So the Republicans gave black people the right to vote for Democrats. How ironic is that? What the fuck? You're voting for Democrats? They didn't even want you to vote. They're removing statues all over. They're changing history. Take all the heroes down. And this is a communist plan. This started, Khrushchev back in the 60s, I'm an old white person, I remember this. He was banging his shoe and telling you, but he also told the world how to defeat America without firing a shot. And that was destroy their history, which they're doing. Destroy their morals, which they've done. Take down their heroes, statues, which we are doing at a record rate now. Record rate. And they're letting that happen. We're letting it happen. Right? Who's going to become a cop now? They're tearing down memorials to cops now. Painting over them and then tearing them down to policemen that have been shot and killed. All right, but they're Who's going to want to be a cop? But you don't need one because now you're going to have community care officer. Community care people will be helping you. In Seattle, just so you know, the black police chief, she's black. She's very upset. The crimes being committed in the new country that was created in Seattle, 3 times higher than they ever were. Rape, robbery, and violent crimes. They can't get police to respond. Police aren't allowed to respond. Police aren't supposed to run. Police aren't supposed to retreat. I swore an oath. I swore an oath to defend America from its enemies, foreign and domestic. But the police in Seattle are not allowed to respond. That's because of the mayor. And the police chief is going along with that. So, getting back, I want to go over to talk about some stuff in Minneapolis right now. In Minneapolis, okay, this is just new, yesterday. They're the first city to do this. Minneapolis police are going to be abolished. They voted unanimously. Minneapolis Council, unanimously they voted to abolish the police. Not defund them, to abolish the police. What the fuck? These people that you elected are getting rid of your police department. They're going to be replaced with a newly formed public safety system. Now, the problem is, the community safety group, they'll be meeting at the end of July. Oh, did I say the end of July? What is that? 5-6 weeks from now? The end of July. They're going to meet to discuss how to do this. There's no word on the community care people that will be taking care of the community. I don't know who's going to be doing it up until then. So the police, to me, the police should leave. They should go to other PDs in the country. Just resign from there or you're going to be let go. Go to other PDs. But I see that Congress is trying to pass a bill that stops police from transferring to another PD. This looks like a very organized thing from the left. So we're going to abolish you, we're going to disband you, and then you go to a state that has police, but you can't become a policeman there. It seems very organized to me. Very well organized. What the fuck? Like, you can't even make this stuff up. Can't make it up. But I want to get on to, that's hatred of police and what they're doing to get rid of the police department in the country, which I can't wait to see. But Minneapolis, City Council resolution. I love this resolution. Police use of force is among the leading causes of death for young men of color, black people, including black women, girls, queers, trans, and non-binary folks. Disabled people, American Indians, immigrants, Latinos are killed by police at a disproportionately higher rates than white peers. Really? Have you checked the statistics, the FBI statistics? So the police are, and the police were this violent that they kill all of these people, all these different classes of people. Why aren't they taking back the cities if they're that violent? Why aren't they mowing down people now? The police use force is among the leading causes of death of all people, except for white people that aren't gay, aren't trans, aren't this, aren't that. But they kill everybody else. What the fuck? Come on, people, wake up. Are you kidding me? Now I want to get into something, a letter I got at my church from my pastor. And he says, I'm just going to break it down because it's a long letter, but I want to break down some key points that alerted me. We are facing a pandemic of violence. I concur. I agree with that. We need to stop evil, dispel racism, xenophobia, discrimination, absurd, supreme racism. So in 2 days, if you watch my other episodes, we went from subconscious racism, unintentional discrimination, racial microaggression, all the way to absurd, supreme racism. I do have to look up the definition of that, right? So he goes on to say, I don't consider myself from the right nor from the left. He comes out of communist Cuba, just so you know. He continues on saying he isn't blinded by the, and you got to wait for this, right? Remember, he just said, I'm not from the right or from the left. And he isn't blinded by the evil of the extreme right. By the evil of the extreme right. What the fuck? I put a post out yesterday. Anybody please tell me what the evil extreme right is doing right now? Anybody, they destroying anything? Any violence coming out of them? Is that happening? Nobody got back to me with that. But I do see statues being torn down, thousands of businesses burned out and looted. I see all that. I see the takeover and forming of Chaz in the city of Seattle. I see that. A no-cop zone. I see that. And it's all done by the extreme left, Padre. I haven't seen any extreme white. And he says he's, I'm going to tell you, if this guy don't think he's leaning to the left, he's leaning to the left. I won't be showing up at this church anymore. You got to be kidding me. You're not getting that weekly donation now. The extreme left has murdered over 10 persons in the past week or so of these things. 6 policemen, black policemen, by the way. They firebombed, looted thousands of stores, and you're voting to defund the police. I can't even believe this stuff. Can't believe it. But I want to tell you what. The communists have infiltrated our government. This all started under Stalin, 1920, 100 years ago if you do the math. They infiltrated the government. They're in here now. We're bringing in foreigners. We're immigrating people that hate America, right? But they also infiltrated the Catholic Church. 1,100 men were put in, communist men, were infiltrated into the Catholic Church to change the morals, to start to take over the Catholic Church, so to defeat the Catholic Church. You can look all this up. Stalin, 1920, 100 years ago. This is how we're going to defeat the Catholic Church in the West. Now, my pastor, he comes from communist Cuba. Is he one of them? I don't know. I don't think so. He's a very good person. I always liked him, but he doesn't have much to say about white people, old white people. Our church, we're old white people. So when you say that there were all these xenophobe, all these phobias that we have, and we're racist and we're that, I'm not. And how dare you classify me as that? And how dare you tell me I'm an extreme right-winger? We haven't done anything. I haven't thrown a brick, haven't started a fire, haven't smashed a car, haven't looted, but I'm extreme right-winger? Really? Really? And I go to your church? Well, you know what? I need to get away from that church because I don't want to be affected by all the extreme white people in your church right now. The point is that we're allowing immigrants into this country that hate America. They hate America. They want to destroy America. And then we elect them to office where they can effect change on America, like Councilwoman Kshama Sawant. I mean, the one from India I mentioned a couple episodes ago, it's absolutely absurd. Ilhan Omar from Somalia hates America. You know, the one that married her brother to get him in illegally into the country? We elected her to office. When I say we, I mean collectively the American people. I mean, really. Defund and abolish PDs. Dismantle PDs. This is all set up to collapse the U.S. Collapse it. Make it go away. I'll tell you, I can't wait to see what happens at number 1 Police Plaza in New York City or in Philly at the Roundhouse, 8th and Race. I just wonder if the police will fight back then. Remember, we are not, as police, we're sworn to protect this country from enemies foreign and domestic. We have a domestic enemy in our country right now that needs to be taken care of. Now, a lot of people are going to call me a warmonger. I am not. I am praying that all this goes away. I am praying to my God, this white man, that this all goes away and no shots are fired. But I'm afraid. I am afraid because it's getting really radical. It happened to move in Philly. They pulled out of the street. No police were allowed to go down the street. The neighbors said, if you don't take care of these people, we will. That's the only reason police went in then. And it ended horribly with a lot of death. I don't want that to happen now. And if Americans, you got to stop voting these radicals in. Got to stop supporting them. Don't be brainwashed by them. What the fuck? Do you see what's going on? I went way too long. Gino, out. Pray for America.